already in the building. I ain't went live in a minute. Just sent you the invite, cuz. Boom.
What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
We here, man. Uh, y'all know what it is. You know who it is.
Oh man.
Man, it's been a week.
I feel you. And it's Wednesday night, cuz like we only halfway done.
Yeah. Thank you for that reminder. You're right. You're right, bro. I'm here tonight though, bro. What's good with you?
Sure. Man, I just had some brassica,
Mm-hmm.
so I feel a little better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. I dig brassica.
Yeah, nice little spot I ran in the O. So
Shout out to O Sharp, DJ O Sharp.
yeah, I didn't get a chance to speak, but we was in the same space.
Shout out. That's my dude. That's my
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. Do you want to jump right into it? You want to wait a couple minutes? People are still joining.
I mean, it's cool. Like we can just kind of, I don't know, maybe you want to talk about how your week has played out.
It kind of goes into what we've been talking about or what the topic of tonight's conversation is. So some of you know that I'm a long distance dad. So I've got 4 kids, 3 biologically, 1 through marriage, and was biologically the right word to use. And my older kids, I have a 16-year-old daughter, 13-year-old son, and they both live in different states. So they came for spring break. I let my daughter kind of skip a couple weeks of school because she's doing so well. So I just let her miss a couple weeks because their spring breaks on different weeks, so they can spend some time together. And it's like the greatest and worst thing in the world. You know what I'm saying? Your kids are there. You're learning them. You're developing a routine. You're sharing space with them. You
I
know.
the Burns meme you put up on Twitter.
Yeah. No, for real. Like, kid, Mike, it's so crazy. Like, so my daughter is like deep into all the TikTok stuff, so she be showing me and sending me trends of stuff that like way before it hits us. When it hits us, it's old, which
Bro,
is hilarious.
TikTok is my last. It's my last battlefield that I'm just not giving up the land, bro. I'm not going to TikTok.
Well, you should at least do what Doc does. So Doc says he will at least like get his real estate there, just so somebody can't like pose as them. So like at least sign up for an account and just like have your name there and don't even touch it, but just have it sit there.
Supposed to get on there Harlem shaking, like, to one of my verses. Like, like, bro, I can't even imagine like what that feels like to just have adults in kids' space.
That's how I
You know
look
what I'm
at
saying? Being in a
it.
like they like playing naturally, but they're like the adults are sitting there and it's just like, whoa, like, what kind of room is this? So
Right.
sometimes it's just like kids, it's for kids. Kids have fun. I remember I needed to have some fun away from the adults.
For sure.
So I just, TikTok just feels like the playground at the mall. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like everybody's having a blast, but I can't wait to get out of this mall.
Yo, but I've never taken my kids to the mall, the playground. I can't. It was nasty before COVID.
Bruh.
It's worse now.
Hey man, them kids be having a blast in there,
They
bro.
do.
They be in there colliding with each other, different things. Like, oh man, my kids ask, and I'm like, no.
Yep.
Matter of fact, we're gonna get on another floor and go past this.
Yep.
So
I don't even want you to have that experience where you're looking like,
nah, I'm so TikTok users out there. It's like I understand the demographics of the audiences that I engage, and it's not like a lot of those kinds of folks. Some of the artsy, nerdy weirdos. You know what I'm saying? Like that,
Yeah.
no hip hop, no good
Yeah.
hip hop.
Yeah.
So like, and then it's the theology heads, you know. So exactly,
Yes.
exactly. So
But it's really like, I guess, they kind of going in the comments already, like saying like, no, we need to be in there because it's really like lots of niche spaces. I think it's almost like when you're introduced to hip hop through like, you know, uh, like the Shiny Suit era, Puff Daddy,
uh-huh.
and then some people think that that's all it is, and then you kind of dig and you're like, oh wait, there's who's Most Def, who's Ruckus Records. Like you find these other spaces that are like actually cool, and you don't have to like dance and point to stuff to share knowledge. That's just
Hey,
what we
man,
see.
you could be right, bro. I'm built for it, bro. Like I can see that those are phenomenal points, but you know, everybody's just built in their own way. And I
For
ain't
sure.
no TikTok. I just the looming. It's just like sometimes I'm like, man, who's gonna put the kids onto the adult stuff? That's what I'm on. I'm like, these kids ain't out here teaching me. You feel me? Like I want to understand. I want us to understand the dynamics of the relationship. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I want to put you on to some things. I want to show you some things. Live a little bit longer. Like that's fun over there. Okay, cool. But I don't have time to play no more.
Right.
Or I
Right.
play. You know, I
Yeah.
play through rhyme. I play through music.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's the life for me, and it just feels like all of these rules in association with content and art and expression, it starts to make you question, like, what am I doing this for?
Right. And I guess that kind of leads into what we're going to talk about tonight, because though when you overthink and you have to add all these rules to something that's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be an escape, that's a really easy way
Yeah.
to experience burnout creatively.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you we like you just said, I write rhymes, I make music to have fun.
Hmm.
But when you have to add in, okay, I got to do the TikTok, I got to look at the numbers, I got to create this, I got to do this, I got to do this over here, it just makes you not want to do it at all. And not only not want to do it at all, you begin to grow a disdain for this thing that you love so much.
Right. Right. Well, that's again, like, you know, that's the battlefield for me is like, I love this thing as it was constructed, and I love it like in a sense where I'm trying to recapture the purity of it, the
For
essence,
sure.
the stuff that actually travels through generations. So like the rhymes, it really truly is like an exercise of humanity. It's like, look, man, I'm not balanced if I don't do this. You know,
Yeah,
like this is a part of balance for me. So I think it's cool to see how everybody navigates it in different ways. And I learned from that. It's just like, yo, it's okay to be different.
yeah. It's funny how that's the new different now, right? It's like not engaging in that.
Mm-hmm.
And you see somebody earlier said the algorithms aren't fun, and that you're seeing almost like a revolt against the algorithms now, where you're seeing more people say, I'm not going to follow this trend sound because it's going to get me more followers, because it's not authentically me. What's
Right.
authentically me is going against the algorithm. And I may want to rap one day. I may want to get a fit off the other day. I may want to do skincare the next day. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously,
Like,
like source of residual income. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's not trying to make a career out of this. You,
right.
like you can really enjoy yourself and kind of dictate the terms of how you share. And I really just feel like we should be more transparent about that stuff.
For sure.
It's a time of transparency. We might as well open up and talk about how this whole thing works. And then maybe it won't sound like hate.
We don't sound like the old heads at the club, or
Just
the
try,
old head.
you know.
We approaching old heads in the church status, like big suits and.
Oh nah.
All right.
We redefining what that looks like.
Absolutely. That'll be a future episode. So I want to welcome everybody to COVID Community via Instagram Live. My name is Armond Wake Up. I'm joined by my distinguished co-host, Taylor Gray. We want to welcome everybody for being here. Just want to set a couple of ground rules real quick as we're here. We are going to create some space for you guys to ask a few questions. So I think there's a Q&A thing, maybe. Hold on, let me see. Okay, yeah, there is. So you put your questions in there. The only thing that I ask is that the questions are actually relative to what we're talking about tonight. Like, don't ask us about new music and stuff like that. Just kind of keep it topical, because I just don't want to, there'll be space to do that, just not tonight. Also, we want to make this space especially exclusive to you guys. So, you know, this is going to be with what happens here stays here. We may post clips, but I don't know. I don't think this episode in full is going to go up live, like in total. Maybe a little later, but for right now, it's just for us in this space. So, you know, we just want you guys to feel safe and whatever, to express however you feel, because, you know, we might go some places. I had one more rule and I completely follow COVID Community on Instagram. You see it right there. It's the pinned comment. Make sure you follow that platform or follow that page to get all things COVID Community with the podcast. covidcom.us, covidcom.us is the website. If you want to check all of our previous episodes, I want to thank you guys. I see my man Dre Marion here. I see Lex just joined. See some of the homies. I see Jana just joined. So, you know, it's family in here tonight. So we just going to talk like family is here. But let's get into the shenanigans.
Oh, man, shenanigans. Okay.
So we're going to talk about Black man burnout.
That's what we've been talking about.
All right. We're going to specifically tackle that. We've kind of talked around it or how it shows up in different ways, but I want to address it directly tonight. Because it feels, man, the world feels undone.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird. So like, what I mean by that is, you know, we've been in quarantine for 2 years. COVID's been the thing. Everybody's socially distancing. And with that, I think there's a lot of like self-assessing that was going on. You know, we've talked about that in previous episodes. You know, people just like having time to tackle where they are. Yeah. Or who am I? My family, my work schedule. And the whole goal was for everyone to get back to normal. Everybody kept saying that. Do this so we can get back to normal. Do this so we can get back to normal. Yeah. And with America lifting a lot of restrictions, you know, some places aren't requiring masks. You see your man Kyrie's allowed to play home games now.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
Good.
So with that, I think people almost feel there's this like feeling of normalcy that's returning. People are going back to work after working from home for an extended amount of time. But I don't know, man, like the things that I was dealing with in those 2 years, mm-hmm. I don't feel like it's done. I feel like I'm still on the operating table. And if I got up now, I would just like be holding my intestines and just walking out. Like I'm still under sedation. And I was talking to my wife about it. And the crazy part is my wife was like, yo, I don't think that normal was supposed to be normal.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
It was a grid everybody was trying to fit through.
Yeah. So, you know, do you want to return to 40-hour work weeks? You know, do you want to return to only being home with enough time to maybe make dinner, help your kids with homework and send them off to bed? Is it even normal for kids to have homework after school? Like I'm watching my daughter. I'm super anti homework. Homework is stupid. And there's no way you're supposed to have kids do a whole 6, 7, 8 hour workday and then send them home with stuff to do. Like, come on, man.
This is America. I mean, listen, bro, like it's definitely components to that should be revisited. And I think I agree with you, man. This is a time for us to be creative. You know, like this is a time to think outside the box about like who says what normal is. You know, redefine expectations. But generations that came before you and say like, yo, you know, I think it's time to switch it up. Like we need to figure out you contributed what you could contribute. And now for the way forward, we have to move differently. And so normal, the whole concept of it, people did a lot of introspection during the height of the pandemic and sometimes didn't like what they saw. And they had to be vulnerable with themselves to accept that was in them. And bro, like that's a whole process. And then somebody comes out with a commercial like, come on back to church. And it's like, hold up, wait. Wait. You know, I just saw some things that I need to deal with. And you're like, bring the gang back all in, you know, and it's just like, we need to really rethink a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, we're even looking at even the concept of like daylight savings time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I think they just recently submitted a bill to like just get for daylight savings time to be the time, you know?
Common sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, why has this thing ever, whatever?
It exists. Like, if you look at the 40-hour work week and why it existed, it served a need during what, World War I?
But see, that's what I'm saying. The times have changed.
Right.
And this pandemic has created an intensely introspective environment. And so because this environment is so introspective, they're like, why are we doing these things? I've never heard an outcry about daylight savings time.
Right.
Like people are like, oh, wait a minute. I'm extremely sensitive to my environments. So I'm questioning everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then basic things are getting questioned, and sometimes it gets ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, let's not act like the basic things are not the basic things. Y'all are acting ridiculous out here.
Like what? Give me something.
I mean, the gender thing for me.
Oh, okay.
You know, like, I'm sorry. Like, there's biological evidence that we can study and see. Like, I mean, come on. It's not even a spiritual conversation in its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a psychological conversation too.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to broaden the discussion. I mean, consider emotional health, bring counselors into it, but let's get some facts on the table so we don't get confused.
Yeah, it's really interesting that like people like to bring science into like spiritual conversations to sort of like suppress it or to eliminate the argument. Like we're bringing facts here. You know, that was a big thing during the pandemic. And then when you see the biological evidence that supports that, you know, men are just naturally stronger, faster than women. So to allow them to, you know, compete in this in similar sports, it's like, well, no, that's who they really are. That's who. So we should support that. It's like, but where the facts, like the same facts that you wanted to establish in this argument, bring those same facts into or bring that same spirit, keep that same energy, as the youth say, in another ideal.
Yeah, man, we just, you know, and then beyond that, we just don't know how to disagree with respect. You know, we don't know how to show each other respect and empathize. You know, you're shouting somebody down from some pedestal, and it's just like, no wonder they don't want to talk to you. You know? No wonder. Like, because you act like that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like really having, again, introspection. If you were going through a spiritual process, then, you know, you do self-examination.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, God, like we're going to go and through some places. And that's some real work.
Yeah.
That's some real work.
And that creates burnout. And the crazy part is like, I don't know, man, as I was talking through this, man, it feels like in a lot of spaces, burnout is a bad word. Like you're not allowed to say, I'm tired.
Yeah, but don't you think that's different than burnout? Like,
okay, well, you're right. Yeah. So it's one thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead. My bad.
No, you got it.
it's one thing to say I'm tired, but it's another thing to say like I'm burnt out, like I can no longer continue.
Right. Exactly. One is, I think, a natural result of work. The other is abuse. You know, like burnout to me is in the category of abuse. You have been abused. You know,
Yeah.
and black man burnout is almost like redundancy. It's just like black man. You know, black man encompasses so many traumas. So like the burnout is natural, and you come into yourself, and it's just like, wow, there's no grace for me. You know, so it's an interesting time to consider that. Because I just the expectation. So that's what I was going to share is the journey that I'm going through right now. And I've been testing it more and more in my life is eliminating code switching.
Okay.
Like totally, like naturally speaking in every environment the way that I would naturally speak. You know, not like going Johnny Golly, you know, like never, ever again.
Yeah.
But I find that it's a challenge because like I'm trained to just switch it up to appease. And then when I just kind of like own who I am and say like, look, man, I'm not really going to depend on you to give me my meaning. You know, I know who I am. So I'm just going to speak this way and we're going to have to respect each other.
Right.
And so it's been an interesting journey, like testing that. I feel like I've lost friends because of it, but hey, I don't want to pretend anymore.
Yeah, for sure. I was just a friend of mine said that they were gonna go to they posted that they were going to not the White House, but maybe to meet the mayor or something like that. And he's a fear of God guy. So your man Rich,
okay.
He's like, he's like, yo, I'm wearing a suit, but I got all these sweats in my closet. So I laughed at him or whatever. I sent him a DM laughing at him. And he was like, nah, he said, yo, you a fashion dude. Like, help me figure this out. And I said, no, I said, go in your sweats. I said, go in your sweats. That was a conversation that I was having with my boss before COVID, where I told her like, hey, I'm not business casual. Like I've got these, you know, this kith in my closet.
Bro. I'm gonna be real with you, bro. I've always been wearing J's to work, bro.
No, J's are no. J's are different. You can get off business casual with a pair of sneakers. I'm coming in dressed off like I'm getting a fit off.
But that's
every day.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's of course it's the J's, but then there's a entire experience. And I go walk to my chair and I get on the phone.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the fashion walk, bro. Like, you know, you come through and then everybody's hunched over their computer and then they get on the phone. But that's the corporate. I never thought I could navigate the corporate America environment because I had to compromise. I had to say, like, listen, I know how to go to a business meeting and put on something that, you know, I'm supposed to have on. And yet when I get to the airport, I'm gonna be in sweats.
Facts.
So I would go to a presentation in a certain place. I would have like a full business suit on in the presentation or the meeting. And they'd meet me and we talk or whatever, and it'd be cool. Bro, sometimes they run into me in the flight, headed back. And I got headphones over my hoodie. I'm looking at them like, what's up? And they're like, is this the guy who just did that presentation? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
This is me. Welcome. I need to be comfortable in this flight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Why is that a problem? You know, so
as if I'm not the same person just based off of what I'm wearing. Because here's the thing. Here's the fact of it all. Like, you could wear a suit, but I'm still dressed better than you.
I think that's the real insecurity behind the system. Like, you know, the people who are inclined, you know, in terms of fashion, they always make the people who are trash look really bad.
Right.
And so you got to deal with that tension. And so somebody said, fun's over. Everybody got to wear khakis.
You know, that kind of reminds me that there's a parallel or part of code switching just eliminates creativity.
1000%. Because it's like one mold, one model. And it's just like the wackest model ever.
Right.
Once you really start thinking about it, it's just like, man, I could get a lot more done effectively if I could just be myself.
Exactly.
Why are you the one that works? Like it doesn't work in all situations. And bro, like that's some identity work, bro. Like, so this whole eliminating code switching, it's interesting to see when it's offensive. Like, you know, just my natural self is offensive, you know, like tolerating me.
Yeah.
Feel me? Like, you know, all right, well, that actually purges my life pretty well.
Yeah. Right. Now I don't have to put up or put on. You know what I'm saying? For this relationship to work. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's how I've been working through my burnout, is to like create a new sense of empowerment and experience like a confidence and heal the way I was taught.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel that. So I'll take that a little deeper, and where I'm at, particularly in that realm, is being burnt out from being that guy. So, people know model ministry. People, it's like, because when you work where I work at, I work in the government sector. First of all, I'm young and I'm Black. Those two things don't exist in my area at the level that I'm at.
Facts. Yes.
So now granted, I haven't been to work in 2 years, and I'm not going back to work. Like I'm permanent work from home, so I'm cool there. However, all the places where I'm show up authentically me, be it like my background due to, all the team meetings and Zooms and all that stuff, to when I show up wearing stuff or whatever, like there's always questions, there's always dialogue. And sometimes it's like, yo, I don't want to have to explain why I got the new J's on. I don't want to have to explain why I'm put together the way that I'm put together. So I've almost been like anti, where I'm not necessarily sweatsuits, because I'm tired of those too, but like,
facts.
I don't want to be the fashion guy. I don't want to be the one that gets stuff off every day, every time you see me. It becomes a uniform, and that becomes burnout, because are you getting dressed or are you presenting yourself? You have to really, like, know when I step outside and what I'm wearing, I really am doing this for me. But on top of that, people are going to have questions. They're going to want to dialogue. And then when it comes to men, people are going to feel insecure.
Facts.
Like, oh man, you got those too? Wow. It's just like model. I haven't posted on model ministry in like 2 weeks, because I'm like, I don't want to deal with that right now. That's just not where that's not where I want to be at. So it's like finding those different ways to just be authentic, and I guess code switch, but like protecting yourself in that too, because people can find your identity in that for you.
Yep. Yeah, and you have to continue to wear that costume, and I'm just like, nah. Like, and it feels good, man. Like it really, it feels like it, as a follower of Christ, it feels like a new place of worship. Say it like that. Like, I am accepted. I am whole. From God. That's a new place.
Yeah.
And like it takes some things to happen to get to that place.
Yeah.
So it's not, like, man, I think sometimes I may have the reputation of being sometimes hard on people, or hard on younger people in particular. But I'm just trying to like be as honest as possible, because this life is going to be cruel to you. Like it's going to really come after you with everything it already has. And you need to be like, you need to be conditioned for what you're going to face.
Right.
because it's not going to warn you. It's not going to, nobody's going to prepare you. So somebody's going to say something that challenges you. It's not to crush you, but it's to really show you how resilient you are.
Mhm.
You know, like, and then you grow into that confidence. And I'm just like, I'll leave that with the younger generation as much as I can, because I'm still growing myself. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not done with that process.
Right. Right. I mean, things that you're facing in your late 30s are things that these kids are facing now at 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
the other side of that information age is that now people have access to everything. So
Right.
some things we didn't have to experience, or some things that we didn't have to address because we didn't even know there
Yeah.
was something to address. Like, we was just, ignorance is bliss.
Facts. Yeah.
Whereas now, kids see everything early, and you got to be comfortable in who you are, comfortable in your process too, like knowing. And I think that goes into burnout as well, is like playing to your strengths, saying, yes, I can do this, and no, I cannot do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you try to be all things to all people, and you take that literally, you
Yeah.
can burn out.
That that goes back to the insecurity.
Yeah,
And insecurities can definitely make you burn out, you know?
for
So
sure.
I think, well, the thing about it is like burnout feels like a period when you say it, but it's really like a comma, because you got to press through it. You know, it's like black male burnout, like you just expired on the ground, but nah, bro, we're both pressing through it.
Right.
We can't afford to just be done.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
people counting on us, and like, we need to be honest about, like, yo, the tank is on, I'm on fumes,
Right.
but I got to show up.
But is that okay?
What's okay? Tell me that okay changes.
Like, should that just be our lot? Like, man, I'm burnt out, but I'm here. Like,
But
I,
that's why I said okay. Does that okay mean forever, or does that okay mean season?
but I think when you are in those safe spaces where you can communicate, I'm burnt out, then you can really explain yourself and add language to that, and just,
Yeah,
not allow people to assume what you mean by, I'm tired, I'm burnt.
yeah, and in many ways, we're still learning how to communicate that, because
Right.
tired is the easiest thing to say.
Hmm.
So much in that you're trying to say,
Yeah,
and
for
we're
sure.
learning now. Like, when I say I'm tired, like, what does that mean?
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Putting language to things is like that actually alleviates burnout a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Is putting language to stuff, having people who are, be it professional help or just people who know you, understand you, and they
Mm-hmm.
can say, my wife, when I was talking about my kids earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
I always explain to them, like, yo, when my kids go back home, like, nobody understands that. I can't even put language to that. And she was like, it feels like a void.
Yeah, it is.
That's exactly what it is.
It is.
And I've been living 16 years not being able to put that word there, but having someone around who understands or can see things outside of, your nose is up to it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a void. So now I know how to now I know how to deal with a void, versus just like this gray area. I feel bad, but I don't know what that means. But I can directly address a void.
Yeah, man.
You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? So
Oof.
I I want to pause here, and I want to welcome other people in the room who have joined. Welcome to COVID Community on IG Live. Make sure you follow COVID Community. It is the pinned comment. That is the Instagram there. COVIDcom.us is the website where all previous episodes are. We are talking about Black man burnout. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave a question in the little question thingy. I see there's a couple in there. I'm not looking at them until. But I really want to, now I want to get into the mud. because you mentioned something. You've mentioned church a couple times. You've mentioned like your identity in Christ. And I want to talk about burnout in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
So you posted a video about 2 weeks ago of a gentleman, pastor at a church, and he was basically saying, I'm stepping down for a season because I'm burnt out. Right? And he began to explain himself and how he's been in ministry for 20 some odd years, and you know, this, that, and the third, and how he loves it. This is all he knows. Like all this, he gives his whole spiel, and it's really great. But as someone who served in ministry 10 years, hardcore, built the church ground up, like I've seen a lot. I didn't say I've seen everything, but I've seen a lot. One thing I have seen is that when pastors or when spiritual leaders communicate burnout, they're always at the end of a rope. And there's always shame when they say I'm burnt out, as if that's not supposed to be a thing. And I'm like, yo, burnout culture amongst leaders in the body is trash. Because to me, there is no consideration for the leaders in that position. Why is it that the pastor has to be on 24 hours a day? I understand that pastoring or leading a church is a service job and you are serving the people, right? But in the words of Big Red from Big Red Records, my office hours are from 9 to 5.
That don't exist, dog. That don't exist.
But why is it that and I'm just going to throw this up there. Why is it that as a spiritual leader, as a pastor, you can't say, I'm off at this time, or I'm going to work 2 months on and then I'm going to take a month off?
Oh yeah, you can set the boundaries. You know, you can set some boundaries, and then there are people who are in different categories. You know, like I see what you're saying, that a blanket rule helps keep order, but every person's different. Like there are people who office hours is not going to work. You're not going to reach them. You know, you're not going to connect with them. You're not going to know them. Yeah. Office hours are 9 to 5, and it all depends on who you feel like you're called to. So I see what you're saying, because there's boundaries is really the takeaway. You need, and it's very hard for pastors to set boundaries. You know, you see me wiggle my way out of the boundary that you were trying to set. Like I was like,
yes. Yes, I did. I just let you do it.
Try to wiggle out because it's natural, but there are concepts of like sacrifice that, you know, are tied to the whole thing. But the pastor who was sharing that, you know, I posted that because I didn't intend it to be like salacious or anything like that. It was just, I'm trying to normalize this stuff.
Exactly.
Like, you should see this. You should know that this is like, bro, I didn't know that sabbaticals existed till I went to the white church. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea that those existed. And I was raised in a black church, like pastors preaching every Sunday, like, you know, no breaks. Office hours are from 12 to 12, you know, and I'm going to do this for 80 years.
Right.
Bro.
Yep.
And then I got into another world and I saw that there were other things that could be done, should be done. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring this back here. There's a whole litany of things that we could talk about as far as learning that. But then, like, in our community, it still is an event for a pastor to say that.
Right.
Stop the whole, oh, God bless them. And I'm like, really? This is shocking?
Yes.
It's Black Man Burnout. I mean, he was episode 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, normalize seeing that.
Absolutely.
He was saying so much within what he was saying.
Absolutely.
And you just felt it. It was just like, man. Go sit up. Like even the way he was talking about resting was like off. I'm like, he said stuff like, I'm gonna go to the grocery store. I'm like, bro.
What are you doing? Exactly.
And he was saying it like it was a accomplishment. And I'm
Yep.
like, wow, man, like we're really hurting.
Yep.
Really
Yep. And so yeah, so I'm glad you shared that and just talking about normalizing it, because I think we're at a space now where, like, you know, I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, everybody wanted to have conversations about everything, right? Like, or not pandemic, in the midst of, you know, all the George Floyd, you know, black bodies being, you know, murdered on the internet. A lot of people who wanted to have conversations, we'll have conversation. Like, the need for talking was done like 2 or 3 years ago. Like, now we're putting language to things and we're putting things in place, you know, so that now when those boundaries are set and when burnout is normalized, or when a pastor regularly taking time off is normalized, you know, because to your point, I grew up, or not I grew up, but like I remember being in a church or going to my grandmother's church in the summertime, because I didn't grow up in the church at all. But like whenever the main pastor wasn't there, like that church was halfway filled up. Like, you weren't coming for that. You know what I'm saying? But like normalizing that, like, oh, hey, he's off in May and he gonna be at home hanging out with his, because all of the other things that need to be taken care of, like family, like my own creativity, like my own just sanity.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go to a concert. I want to, you know, hang out with my wife. I want to sit in front of my television and watch basketball.
I want to play video games.
I want to play video. I just beat Cuphead this weekend or a couple days ago. I want to play video games.
Sorry, I got bro. I got a list. And again, see, here's the thing. When I was talking about code switching before, it's not just about, you know, a racial experience. There's church code switching.
A 1,000,000%. Yes, that's where I'm at. Yes.
So you talk about, you know, this the whole thing, like being burnt out from the church. That's another thing I'm trying to experience some liberty in, is my normal self in the faith is good enough. I don't have to perform for you. You know, you're not going to sit here and disregard the admirable qualities that I have because you see some flaws.
Right.
Especially when I see yours. You know, like it's like let's just be on this journey together. Like, let's be at peace. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to do this. We don't need to compare. We don't need to measure ourselves. Like, really? There's enough. The scripture it was said hundreds of years ago, but it's still true now. The harvest is plenty. What are we fighting for? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I'm like, hey, but then there are people who misrepresent and then they got to get addressed. You know, like, you know, all of that stuff is just a part of like what you can see. But when you do the religious code switching, it's just lies. Just lying. You know what I'm saying? Like a culture of lying.
Yes. Down to the blessed and highly favored greeting. Like,
you're singing things, you're trying to manipulate your thoughts to think something that isn't real, or that something that is real is not real. It's like, no, this is real, and it's just as much God in the real thing.
Yes.
It's in this hysteria you've created to distract yourself.
Yes. Yes. I'm sick. Don't say that. You're speaking sickness over yourself. No, I've been sneezing and my nose is running. I'm sick.
Listen, man, where were the healing ministries during the pandemic? Where were they at? Where were they? This was their time.
Your boy Copeland tried to at the beginning.
Oh,
and that just got obliterated.
He turned into a remix God Sway video, like after
they was like, get out of here.
Out of here, bro.
Get the shot.
You know, it was bad timing, but all of that stuff, like, you know, and again, for me, it's kind of like a journey through humanity in kind of the grieving, sadness, area to me, which is part of the code switch, is like you're not allowed to be sad.
Right.
It's not allowed. Where's the joy?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where's the peace? You know, you're thankful, aren't you? Like, you know, okay, I'm sad.
And if you're not comfortable in that sadness,
Yeah.
you could be accused of letting the devil win.
Come on.
You
And
could be.
there's a tension. There's just not black and white. It's a tension.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I need you to get in the tension with me. Don't hit me with the 3 steps and come on, bro.
Right. And another step, this is somewhere that I struggle at traditionally, is like this, as if God is not in that wrestle, he's not in that tension. So it's like, if I don't think this way, if I don't have a faith mindset, then now all the bad things in the world that are happening to me because I'm sad. And that means I don't trust God. And then that means that I'm backslidden. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like it piles on top of each other. And it's like, no, I'm just sad.
Bro, there are some bitter books in the Bible, bro. You know, like people who were salty when they were writing, they were not full of joy. And it's a real thing that you can add to the grace being sufficient. Like, but you're not taught that. You know, so now it's like this whole environment has created this heavy time where we had to see it, and then we had to deal with it. And when we started questioning everything, then it was like this outcry, like there's this great falling away from the faith. And it's just like, can we relax? There are questions being can we just relax? Let the questions be asked. I'm not scared of questions. I'm not scared of it. Why are people so scared of the questions?
Yes, bro.
I'm like, man, I don't even know if I want to say the name Jesus anymore because of y'all.
Right.
I don't want to be seen with y'all. I'm like, yo, y'all are really jumping over the, like, you understand who this God is that we talk about? Like, he's not big enough for questions.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry, dog. Like, I just don't get it, man. It's just like, again, if you're sold that version, then, no wonder you've fallen off. But there's space for you. Always space.
Always space. Yep. And the safety in that creates the confidence, which then allows you to deal with that burnout or not be as susceptible to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always say, like, yo, people feel the way that they feel away, and that just expedites the burnout.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I'm angry, and then I'm angry, I'm sad because I'm sad. And now I just am now at the end of myself, just based off of being upset that I feel away, and I shouldn't feel this way. I love Jesus. Like,
bro,
that's not what this is saying.
I'm just sorry, man. Like, God knows whether we're being honest, whether we choose to or not. And it's about us choosing, and just be honest. Don't be afraid. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm teaching myself that, like, don't be afraid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how to show up when it's time to show up. You know how to execute when it's time to use your gifts. You know how to give what you give in a way that only you can give. You don't have to be ashamed of what other people don't like about you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
So if churches aren't talking about that on that level, building the relationships and the spaces to kind of cultivate that, it's a wrap for you. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's a wrap. Like, if you're not going to that level, if you're not going to be introspective, you're going to just try to do the dog and pony show and get people's money again. Okay. You're going to be looking wild out here.
Oh, facts.
You can be looking wild.
Big facts. Absolutely.
So
yeah. I wanna kind of begin to land the plane. Unless there's something that you want to address, I want to get into some of these questions, because we could really stay. I mean, these are a lot of our conversations in private anyway.
Right.
We could stay here for hours. So get into some of these questions. Oh, we only have one question. Okay, so you guys can share question or post questions. We'll take questions for like another like 5 or 10 minutes or so. So if you have any questions, leave them there in the comments. Leave them in the little Q&A thing. Again, follow COVID Community on Instagram. All right, let's get into the question that we have right now. So my homegirl Jana, she says, so is burnout something that's inflicted on you or self or other inflicted spaces?
I think it's inflicted. I mean, I guess it could be a combination of the.
I think it's both and.
Yeah, yeah. I think it. You know, I don't feel like I got to choose between two of those.
Yeah, it's case by case, because it's funny. And speaking of, you know, Jana posting that, she posted something that I kind of wanted to talk about the other day, where she talked about, you know, the neediness of humans. She's like, yo, so you hear this a lot in Christian circles, like it's okay to be needy because God wants us to be needy, wants us to need him. And from the time we're babies, I got a 1-year-old, like my 1-year-old is needy. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a bad thing at its core. But I think it's like what you need and who you need it from is where that maturity comes in, and you can figure out what goes where, because you could see what happens with a lot of people is they will, and particularly with leadership or someone that they admire, whatever, is like their insecurities or whatever will lead them to feel like because this person is at this place, then now they have the capacity to meet every single need that I have. And you got to space those needs out. Certain things I need from my friends that I don't need from my wife. Certain things I need from my wife that I don't need from anybody else. Certain things I need from professional help that I'm not going to get, that I should not put on my wife, because that's going to stay in the house and create a whole host of issues that I don't want to deal with.
Facts, bro. Facts. That's just fact. I don't have nothing to add to that, bro. That's a great point.
Yeah, so I think that's what happens in a lot of those circles. It's like when we talk about, you know, setting boundaries or whatever, is I just feel like people. And then the other thing is like when people set those needs and expectations on you, when you don't meet them, it's always you've let them down and not I set unnecessary expectations on you. It's like,
bro, if it's not mutual effort, buy-in, love, you know, somebody's gonna suffer. So, you know, both people got to be in tune. You know what I'm saying? Like it's sometimes, I'm not gonna say sometimes, it's just, it doesn't seem like it's very common that happens. Like, you know, just the exercise of listening to somebody or learning how to listen to another person can be excruciating. For real, bro.
no, facts. That's why I'm laughing, because it's true.
Like you listen to a long-winded person and intentionally say, I know you're long-winded, but I'm going to deal with it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm long-winded.
And just connect with them and let them do whatever and talk in whatever circles, and you just like, but that exercise helps you because you spent the time invested to try to understand that person. You know?
Yeah, that's good.
Sacrifice that pans out in the end. So it's worth spending the time. You know what I'm saying? And again, the pace of the whole thing is really what creates the pressure. Is like, slow the pace down though. You know what I'm saying? Like, slow. Whoa, why you pushing me from behind? Go ahead and get by me. Go ahead and get by me. I'm
yes.
over here. You know what I'm saying? You got it. Go. I'm chilling.
Yeah.
And like, again, a part of undoing the code switch is saying, like, I don't have to keep running, like, you know, next to you to prove anything. Like, yeah, you know, go ahead and go up there to glory. You'll be back because you're gonna have to sit down for a while up there.
Right.
Go ahead and go. Because
right.
will hit you and you're gonna be stuck. Like, oh wow. And then I'm gonna be just plodding along. The pace is important, bro. People have been traumatized. That's the burnout, the correlation of burnout and pace.
Yes.
Like you keep pushing me, burnout.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
like, but slow it down, we may have tired instead of burnout.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Reminds me like how Lil Wayne kind of changed music when 2007, he does 100 features. He's on a new song every week.
Mm-hmm.
And then that becomes the industry standard.
Yeah.
So now everybody's like, we got to keep up with Wayne. And it's like, no, Wayne is just on another planet for multiple reasons.
Mm-hmm.
He's on a creative high. He's taking a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
And whatever he's doing, like, is just showing up and writing these raps.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean, but that's his pace. If he wants to run that way,
yeah,
let him run.
Yep.
Whereas I come from the era where you put out albums every 2 years. You didn't put out albums every 6 months.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And look, bro, Nas did that, and then he sped up.
Right? Because he found another pace.
Yep.
Found somebody to run with. You know what I'm saying? When you run with somebody and they run a little faster than you, or they can help you with your technique.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, you can actually shorten your mile from 11 minutes to 8 if you do this.
Yeah, and Nas looks successful and healthy.
Looks very healthy.
You know, like I could do this all day type stuff. And and we love it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a pace. You know, it's a pace of making music. It's like kind of the way you decide to show up in a lot of your social spaces. You know what I'm saying? Where you can just admit, like, I'm not there. You know, I'm not there yet. Keyword yet. I'm chilling. You know what I mean? Like, I have to take my time with this, because if I try to rush past it, then I'm going to lose. I'm going to risk losing my connection with God.
Facts.
You know? So I'm just trying to slow it all down, bro. Like, why do I got to finish that fast?
Facts.
Or I appreciate you for the pace that you're able to keep. I'm not at that pace, so let's just not shame each other.
Right.
You know, but I really appreciate how you're wired for that. You got
That's right. That's right. All right, let's run through these questions, because it's quite a bit of okay, this is good. Okay, so what's helpful at home when dealing with burnout?
You go first.
What's helpful at home? I mean, space. For me, it's space.
Yeah, that's good.
For me, it's food.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's sex.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's the ability to do what I want in the confines of my castle. So if I want to play video games and the dishes aren't done, I know the dishes aren't done. I got you. However, let me finish this quarter of 2K real quick, and then I'll get to the dishes. Little things like that help out a ton. I would say, and then space to communicate, because for me, my wife and I, we talk all the time, almost like, I won't say too much, but like, it's very easy for us to go into these really deep places. And they help me process a lot. So those things help tremendously. What about you?
Nah, bro, you smoked that, bro. The church said amen.
Okay, bet. We'll keep going. Okay, why do y'all feel that the church in whole went quiet during this time of need?
Man, it just depends on what pocket of the church you're in.
Yes.
Some other churches that were very loud.
Mm-hmm.
And they really never closed up. They was in there with no mask on. Like, we're gonna do this. And they did it in places across the country. Like, don't let the media fool you. Like, you know, there was a movement.
Yeah, dog.
It was a whole movement. Like, we will not shut down. This is like Satan attacking us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. The faux persecution. Yes.
Bro, that's what that was happening. So I guess there are places where it was silent, and I'll say it like this. I think a lot of people just genuinely didn't know what to do. That's just like, nobody's gonna just come out and say that, or not enough people will. But I know for a fact that many people they didn't know what.
Did you see that thread on Twitter where they were showing like people in mass, like at Walmart when everything first popped off?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like they was just wearing there's people in like hazmat suits.
Bro.
Like it was just stuck.
It was a time I'll never forget it.
Never forget it.
I'll never forget it. Like I remember it differently because, again, I slowed my pace down. I'm like, y'all can run around in circles. I'm surveying the scene.
Yeah.
And, y'all got to stop it with the toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? Like, got to stop it. Dr. Fauci became a lot of people's pastors.
Yes, he did.
Like they were at church on Sunday or on.
Yes, they were.
When he came
Tuesday at 2:00 or whatever time it was.
Bro,
yeah, dog.
Congregation was gathered. It was like, okay, give us the word.
Yeah, dog. Absolutely. You couldn't touch your hand, couldn't touch your face.
Bro.
Just like, we just didn't.
Hands became signage. It was like, fam.
First of all, that's just a sign. What I've been saying for years, America, like we was already nasty. Well, y'all was already nasty,
bro.
If you've worked in customer service, or you've worked in the public sector at some point, be it fast food or a store in the mall or something like that, people are disgusting.
Yeah.
So the fact that we have to have signs up that say "wash your hands."
Yeah. But that's panic. Like, panic doesn't make you're not thinking about what you're doing. Like,
for sure,
you're frantically printing posters about
with drawings. Like,
bro, spending millions of dollars to keep these populated everywhere you could look. Like, oh my gosh, really?
Crazy. That's
insane, bro. Like, but I guess it was normal. People were like, yes, and here's the video, and you got to go all the way down to your forearm. I'm like, yo, man, I'm not watching videos.
You know how to wash my hands. I learned how to wash my hands when I was 3.
Please, this is too much. But a lot of things, man. A lot of friends, a lot of relationships suffered.
Yeah,
a lot of relationships suffered. People just changed.
Yeah,
they changed. Either they changed or they revealed who they truly were.
Absolutely.
And people are not friends anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
They're not members. They're not associates in any way. You are done.
Yeah.
So that's I'll remember this time from that, with that in mind as well.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that I could actually post the question. Okay, there we go. So, all right, okay, here we go. That's how you do it. Bet. Okay, so how do you deal with the lack of creativity or longer stretches of time that you expected?
I've never stopped writing. So, I mean, for me, it doesn't turn off. It's, even in the droughts, it's still an exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I know it's trash, it's still a matter of rhythm.
Yeah.
And so I haven't taken a stretch for a minute, man. And it doesn't mean it was all good stuff, but I was still creative enough to try to like get something down. So I would say, like, for me, it just became a discipline. Like, bro, it's like people don't talk about the craft like this anymore.
Yeah.
And like, Bill, I know you care about the craft, so I'm gonna just talk to you like I know you do. You know what I'm saying? And we got to work at it. We got to get better. We got to stretch our limits. We got to invite people into the constructive criticism process.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's huge.
and it all be within the category of love.
Yep. Yep.
And
Having that pushback when you're creating is like so vital.
so, I mean, I'll speak for myself, but I mean, maybe you've had a drought, bro, like that you can speak to.
Yeah, bro, I have droughts all the time.
Yeah.
I have droughts all the time. I'll have a stretch where like I won't stop writing for 2 months, and then I won't write for 4.
Mm.
I've got so many projects sitting on the shelf that are halfway done because I caught a creative spark and then I just stopped.
Mm.
I think for me, I mean, I've been writing rhymes since I was 7 years old. So, you know, it comes down to it at my age. And I think you spoke on it when you talked about pace. It's just like, man, what do I still want to say?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to say this through creativity or through raps? Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I need to make a video. Sometimes I need to tweet. Sometimes I need to make a phone call. Figuring that out. So, and the thing that I do when, you know, I've experienced those stretches of creativity is that I don't really trip.
Mm.
I just don't put anything on my plate. I think the discipline is great. I say that finding a rhythm where you sit down and not be led by like this thing of creativity and you're just like, no, I'm going to write every day or write every week, like we'll break that 100%. But I've been writing for 30 years and, you know, I just want to find some other spaces to communicate that. So for me personally, I don't really trip like that because I know it's coming. And then when it comes, it's like, oh yeah, this is easy. Like rapping is so easy.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll say if I could just kind of give external perspective, because bro, like this is probably common. Sometimes you just need new experiences
Yes.
in your life, you know, and if it stays relatively conservative, then things can dry up.
Yep.
So there's a sense of adventure in all of that
Yep.
really helps with creativity, seeing new things.
Facts.
Remember when we went to New York City,
Mm-hmm.
we left from there super inspired.
We put bars down immediately.
Yes, immediately.
Yeah.
That was just a new experience rapping in Brooklyn.
And killing it.
Yep.
Like we were received,
Bro. Like that was incredible. And so changing an experience, changing the space, going to see something new, moving to a different place, going to a different church, whatever.
Yep. Facts.
Bro,
All right.
I'm about to go. Look, I got a 5 o'clock in the morning flight.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I got to put some stuff in.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got your joint in the morning. Okay, yeah. So we'll cut these questions then.
Stay on the answer, bro.
Do I want to stay on an answer?
Yeah.
No. No. I mean, I can. I got like another 15 minutes. I'll stay on and do a little more Q&A. That's cool. There's only there's really only 2 more questions left. So I can do that.
All right, bro. Peace. Thank you for the people who recycled in and cycled out, man. Thanks, y'all. Thanks for joining us.
All right. I get with you.
All right, bro.
All right. All right. Yo, that drop is like lonely. All right, hold on. Let's here we go. See, because now I want nuance and stuff. Because like this question here, like how do we hold each other accountable while folks are moving at different paces? I mean, I made the video that said you can't really hold strangers accountable. So I guess my question back would be, who are we holding accountable? You know what I'm saying? Are you talking about like people within your space? Are you talking like friends, family, people that you can actually touch? Are you talking about like algorithms and platforms and positions of power? You know, who are you holding them accountable? Who are you holding accountable and why do you want to hold them accountable? And how is that relevant to like you know, your pace and your space. As long as it's not disrupting your pace, you know what I'm saying? Like you should be cool. To me at least. I think I've just reached the age like, well, bro, I just don't have time to hold everybody accountable. Unless they are like directly impacting my space. You know what I'm saying? So if you're stopping me from doing something, or stopping my wife, or, you know, my kids from doing something, or something I'm trying to accomplish, and one of the homies that brought something up to my attention, like, then yeah, if I have the capacity or the ability to do that, then I'll do it. But other than that, like Taylor talked about earlier, just moving out the way and just letting people rock. Like, yo, you got it. You can get it. If we driving on the freeway, like, you got it. Go ahead and get past me. It's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go into this last little bit. All right, it's from my man Kellis. So when was the moment of pivot that helped y'all be more transparent with the process? You know, I don't know. I've been thinking about that a lot. For me, I had like, y'all know when I kind of came into this space, like I was really transparent, like overly transparent. And then, you know, the church that I was at, I was kind of like admonished for that. And I was taught to like scale it back, or I was encouraged to scale that back. And I think there was some wisdom in that. There was some oversharing that I was doing. But with that, it totally psyched me out, because I was on some like, my life is mine, or my life isn't mine. So like I'm sorry. My life is mine, but my experiences are universal, right? So if I share this, it's because somebody is going through it. I've had people approach me at concerts like, yo, man, I really appreciate the fact that you're, you know, talking about being a long distance parent. You know, I'm having trouble. My daughter lives in another state, and her mom, and we dealing with, you know what I'm saying? So because I've had those experiences, it's like, I know that when I'm sharing this, that somebody can relate. But with that, I kind of scaled back for a long time. Like, I was really afraid of people's response, because I didn't see my thought process, or I didn't see my voice. I didn't see myself represented like in the universe, in the space, right? What's up, Shannon? And because I didn't see myself in the space, I felt like I was crazy. Like, yo, what am I doing here? You know what I'm saying? And so I would say recently, honestly, like within my marriage, like my wife is somebody who I talked about earlier, like she just knows how to put words to things. And when she puts words to things, she's like giving me the confidence to say, nah, you're right. Or no, that's a valuable perspective that is worth pursuing. You know what I'm saying? So I would say recently, dog. I would say that pivot is recent with the process. Is like, this is where I'm at. I don't feel like it ever went away, but I definitely feel like I scaled back quite a bit. So see if there are any other questions. No, I think that's the last. Nope, that's it. We answered all the other ones. Okay, so I'm gonna get out of here. So want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. Yo, my dog, Cario. Yo, I'm in there soon. I've been saying that for months, but I'm coming to the bar like real soon. My wife loves the menu, and I need to take her down there and, you know, allow her to stuff her face with all of your clean options. So I get with y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. We will be doing this again soon. Make sure you follow Cover Community. And yeah, I get with y'all. Y'all be cool.